Hello, everyone. I'm Gloria.
I'm McKenna.
And Rodney.
In this series, we're going to explore how different types of students manage their mental health and wellness while balancing busy lives.
Through interviews with a student athlete, a full-time employee who's also in school, and a fully online student, we dive into the unique challenges each person faces.
And the ways they stay motivated, healthy, and connected.
In this episode, we have interviewed Naomi, our full-time student and full-time employee, and here is that interview now.
Hi, I'm Gloria,
And I'm McKenna.
and we are here with Naomi.
Hi.
She is a full-time student and a full-time employee who we're speaking with today about how her experiences managing school and work play a part in her overall wellness and mental health. So, to start us off, can you share a bit about what you're studying and the kind of work you do?
I'm studying biology with a minor in medical sciences, and I work as a medical assistant at an outpatient pediatric clinic.
What led you to take on both full-time school and full-time work at the same time?
So I'm in school full-time because I'm just finishing up my degree, and then I'm working full-time because I'm applying to grad schools. And in order to apply, you need to have a certain amount of patient care hours. And in order to get those, I have to work full-time.
That is awesome that you want to take on grad school and all of the necessary requirements that it takes to get in, even though it may be hard and time consuming. How long have you been juggling both of the roles of being a student and an employee?
I started working when I was about a sophomore in college and have just been working since then.
What does a typical work and school week look like for you with this schedule?
So usually I do schoolwork about every single day. Um, Work, I only have 3 days a week. I do three 12-hour shifts. So if I have work to do, I'll do that after work. But usually, if not, I save it for the other days during the week.
So I know you said you work 3 days a week and then you have the other days for school, but how do you manage your time between your school, work, and then also your personal life? Because if you're working 3 12s and then in the other 2 days you're doing school, do you have any time for your personal life?
Well, I try to have one day at least that I'm not working. Usually spend time with my friends and family. Me and my sisters will go on walks. I'll go to the gym. Just stuff to kind of get my mind off of anything related to school or work.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And those things help not only like your mental well-being, but also your physical, like going on walks.
Mhm.
It's all being helped from those things. So have you found any specific tools, maybe apps or habits that help you stay in a positive headspace and help your overall wellness?
Yeah, I have a planner which I use every single day. I write down everything possible in it, and I think that is helped me stay organized and also on top of things, which I feel like contributes to my overall well-being because then I'm not behind on anything and then I don't get on myself about that.
True, yeah, it can be really overwhelming when you have a lot and it's not organized. I get the same way. I have to have my stuff out on an Excel sheet and it's color coded and it really helps me get everything done, or else I would be extremely overwhelmed, which then impacts your overall wellness.
So we know that your job includes working alongside patients. So I'd imagine it's a lot for you to give your all to your patients, your coworkers, and your schoolwork if you do not have the time and ability to give your all to yourself and focus on yourself for a couple of days out of the week. Have you ever experienced yourself running into the issue of not having that time, not having the ability to slow down and take a moment for yourself? And how do you go about that?
I have, and I when I realize that's happening, I make sure to take a step back, reassess everything that's going on, whether that's work, school, or something in my personal life, and just take a moment and think about what's going on so I don't get overwhelmed and how to go about handling each separate situation rather than just going at all of them at once.
Absolutely. I think that is a really good way to look at it and kind of avoid the almost inevitable burnout that all students face at one point. Have you ever experienced a burnout? And if you have, do you notice that your body or your mind kind of give you signs ahead of time that you're heading in a direction where you need to slow down and regroup?
Yes, I have. I definitely have experienced burnout, especially during my junior year when I was taking the hardest classes I could for my major. I don't think I noticed any signs in the moment, but after I had, I feel like I knew. Looking back, I definitely was slacking on schoolwork. I was waking up late, going to bed late, and just overworking myself. And I think that's what caused the burnout. Once I realized that was happening, I withdrew from the class that I was struggling with. And I think that really made my schedule a lot easier. And I was able to do better in my other classes and work as well.
I think it's awesome that you were able to recognize the source of burnout in your situation and assess how to move forward and overall just remove yourself from the situation in order to better your experience as an employee and a student.
Yeah, I agree with McKenna. I think it takes a lot of courage to withdraw from something that you know isn't really adding to your overall life, to your overall well-being, your mentality, and also work and school. It's just like it's so much better to be able to take a step back, and it doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you strong for being able to recognize that and to be able to make your life better because of that. Next, what are your biggest sources of stress in your current routine?
I would say it's not, I wouldn't say it's my classes. I think just focusing on what comes after graduation. I want to apply to grad school, so just making sure I have a strong application.
Yeah, I know a lot of students definitely struggle with that, whether they are full-time students and full-time employees, or if they're just a student in general, that is definitely stressful. No one knows what they're doing after, and that can put a load on your mental health for sure. Do you feel like there's a stigma around talking about your well-being or mental health in your work or in your academic environments?
I think there used to be, but I feel like over time people have definitely opened up more to it. I know my school or my major requires me to take a lot of courses on it. As a medical sciences minor, I've taken, I think, about 3 or 4 courses on just integration of mental health into medicine, um, how it affects not only patients but also healthcare workers. And also at work, I think I work with Dayton Children's and they are very open about it. We have different meetings. They have therapists for you if you need them. They're very, I feel like over time, especially recently, it's become less of a stigma.
That is really awesome that your workplace has created such a comfortable environment to encourage its employees to speak up about any mental health issues and just feel overall supported by their resources that they have put in place. Do you find that you lean on anyone else in your circle, any friends or family, to help you get through any tough mental hurdles?
Yes, I think I definitely do rely a lot on my friends and family. I'm able to talk to them if I have something going on. It's easy to have conversations. We all know we all struggle mentally when things can get overwhelming. So we have open and easy conversations with each other and know each other well enough to tell the other what to do or how to cheer the other one up.
For sure. It is really important to have such a close-knit group of supporters in your circle to help you through any hurdles that your busy schedule may throw at you. What would you say you've learned about yourself through this experience of managing both work and school?
What I've learned about myself is I definitely need to take time for myself. It's important to set aside time. By working full time and being in school full time, I'm working towards goals I want to reach. But while doing so, I need to make sure I'm also keeping myself mentally sane and doing things that make me happy.
Absolutely. You definitely learn a lot about yourself and how you operate under stress and just in demanding situations. So, what advice would you give to someone who is considering taking on such a high stress, demanding schedule like yours?
I would say be productive with your time, do the most you can when you can. It's important to set aside time for yourself, but it's also important to get things done. And if things get overwhelming, make sure you use your resources and different facilities at school. I know we have a wellness center at UC where you can go in just to do homework. They have coffee, they have snacks, they have people to talk to. So just make use of your resources when you can.
I think that is really great advice for someone considering taking on such a demanding schedule. Miami definitely also has a wide variety of support systems and mental health resources that our students use every day. Thank you for your time and sharing your experience with us. You have given us some really great insight on what it looks like to be a full-time employee and a full-time student.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode.
We hope you enjoyed hearing about the real experiences and challenges our guests shared.
Stay tuned for the next part of our series, and remember, take care of your mental health and wellness is just as important as everything else on your plate.
See you next time.